Yo, what's going on? YouTubes and Twitters and LinkedIn and all of the places. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Using a different streaming program now. So it looks like the audio is working. I'm going to trust myself that the audio is working. But anyway, what is going on? Let me get this chat working here. I don't think it's working the way I want it to, but we'll get it figured out. Anyway, hope you guys are all doing wonderful. It's what, July the 3rd. So hopefully, if you're in the United States of the America like I am, you're celebrating your independence today and tomorrow. It's a thing we do, you know. We're gonna blow our fingers off with fireworks and all that fun stuff. It'll be a great time. I'm trying to pull up this live dashboard right now. I'm sorry. View in live control room. Yes, please. AMA was good while it lasted. We'll always be doing AMA. Bro, what? This is it. Yeah, kinda. It kinda is it. In a way. We'll talk about that. I'm trying to get this stupid chat to work. I'm sorry. Get overlay URL. Let me take this overlay URL. And let me browser source. Yeah. So I'm trying to add the live stream stuff. Oh, there we go. It works again. Sweet. I feel like that's a lot easier to set up than it was the last time. Wait, what's the end? In before changing the channel name? Yeah, that's basically it. Changing the channel name. That's it. That's basically what it boils down to. Honestly, if you guys are tuning in and you want me to tell you the story, I'll sit here and tell you the story on why things are changing. We can definitely go into that if you would like. But I figured I'd do AMA because I still want to do these AMAs where I go live and like talk to people and answer questions. I don't want to be known as IT career questions, I guess, anymore. Kind of. Going on 8 years of doing this, y'all. So September, 16th, 17th of this year will be 8 years of doing YouTube. And I'll still do AMA tech stuff because this stuff is fun. Like I enjoy the live streams, I think, a lot more now than I ever have, honestly. It's fun being able to interact with people. Even though like you guys don't directly get to interact with me in that way, we still get to chat. And it's fun. I enjoy it. Sometimes there's like new questions that come in and it makes me think. And it's like, all right, this is why I do this. 7 things you think you bombed an assessment for a good job after your life. Well, you know what? You'll have more opportunities. Oh, it's cutting off all the rest of that. I'll have to figure out how to adjust that. What brand are your eyeglasses frames? Are you the same person that asked me this the last time? Because unfortunately, I don't know. Yeah, I think you asked in like the live premiere or something the other day. But I don't know. They're from Walmart. If you would like, it says Frame China right there. I don't know. Here, I'll look up this number for you. Just hold on. I can't even see my screen. Hold on. It says WPL 701. Oh, I did that wrong. Okay, gotta put these on so I can see. I'm blind without these. Frames. I think I might have got you. They're Ray-Bans? There's no way that these are Ray-Bans. No. That's Walmart being stupid. Hang on. Yeah, must include that thing. Yeah, I don't know if that I'm going to be able to find them for you in a quick Google search, but it was fun. It was fun either way. I could not find these glasses on the Walmart website, but they are on the Walmart. Why is this the end? It's just the end of IT career questions, just in the sense of the name IT career questions. So I no longer want to be doing this all the time. That's not really exactly it. That's not all of it. Honestly, Where do you want me to go down this journey, man? Or woman or people? I can go down this journey with y'all. It's fun. It's a good journey. Basically, so almost 8 years ago, I started this channel, IT Career Questions. It wasn't even called IT Career Questions when I first started it. It was called PC Simplest. And the whole reason why I started the channel was because I just wanted to help people with like really simple, basic technology stuff. And I was like, my target audience is going to be old people because like I just enjoy helping people with tech stuff. I was like, anyway, so if you go back to like the very beginning of this channel, like the very first videos, you'll see that. You'll see not only like the name of the channel being different, you'll see like just the videos are just a little bit different, more tech related. They're so awkward though, and I love watching them, especially like the very first video that I did where I actually showed my face. Excuse me, which is a video on how to use your TV as a computer monitor. And what's funny about that video is I actually honestly in almost I think until this year it was that video was the first video that I ever created where I showed my face, and it's also the first video that I had that reached over 1 million views, which was just insane to me. What's the tattoo on your left arm? I don't know. I got my name here and I got my old lady's name here. Sorry, ADD, love it. Anyway, yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. I should not look at the comments when I'm trying to tell a story. Anyway, yeah, so the whole purpose of the channel back then was just to like try to help people. But then like I made this video in my car of all places while I was driving, where I was talking about like getting into IT because I was getting a lot of questions, not from people on YouTube, but just in people in my day-to-day life. Like, how did you do it? And I kept finding myself telling the story. So I made this video in my car, like, here's the things that you should know if you want to get into IT. And that video, like, for my channel at the time, like, exploded. And I was like, oh, like this might be like a really good opportunity for me to like help more people and like talk about topics that I'm interested in talking about. So that's kind of like when like IT Career Questions basically transitioned from doing this, like, I don't know, I was just trying to figure out what I was doing at the time. So again, if you go back to the very first videos on this channel, like you'll see like just really basic, stupid tech stuff because that was the kind of stupid stuff I was interested in, I guess. But anyway, made this video talking about getting into IT, and it like did really well. And I got just a ton of questions from people who were trying to figure out what they needed to do. And again, keep in mind, this was in like 2015 at the time. And I was like, man, there's like this opportunity for me to like help more people. And like, I'm not going to have all the answers, but like I work with a lot of great people who have worked in IT for a really long time that I could ask them questions to, or, you know, like bounce ideas and questions off of. I've worked in IT for almost, you know, like I think at that point it was like 15 years. So I had built a lot of relationships with people where I could turn to them to ask questions. And then once I started doing that, like, I don't know, it's everything kind of fell into place, which is really, really weird. Because I'd never planned, and I've said this a billion times, I'm sorry if you're hearing me say this again, but I never planned on doing YouTube full time. I never wanted YouTube to be a source of like income. I never imagined that, first of all. It was never like a thing like, yeah, I could totally do this, or like I want to reach 100,000 subscribers and get a plaque. Like, that's not what it was about. That's never what it was about. And I get upset with myself sometimes that it turned out that way. But like, it was like I had this opportunity where I was working full time in a hospital. Things were going really well because I was starting to get into more security related things. Like I took over like our mobile device management project. So like managing all of our mobile devices that were rolling in for all of our doctors, nurses, which is a big kind of project that eventually kind of led to more security related things within that organization. Like more specifically doing like security awareness training, but just like kind of being more abreast with things and being very interested in security. Anyway, you'll understand why I'm getting to that. Things were going great at the hospital. Like I loved my job. I loved the people that I worked with. Like it was the best job that I ever worked in my life at that time. But like this YouTube thing was like going really, really well. And like full disclosure, like there was companies paying me a lot of money to like do videos and talk about them. And I was like, well, I just had I had my second child at the time, like my third child total. But like, I guess my second child, whatever. I have 4 kids now. We'll get there. So I had 3 kids basically, at this time, where I was like, I have this great opportunity. I'm 30. What was I at this point? It was in 2018, 34, 32 years old. I can't even do math. 31 or 32 year old, 30 something years old, 32, 3, whatever. Anyway, I was like, dude, I need to take this opportunity, because if I don't take this opportunity to try to do this YouTube thing, like I am going to like kick myself in the butt like 20 years from now when I'm like 50, like saying, why didn't I try this? Why didn't I do that? Like if I fail, I fail. If I succeed, great, whatever. But like, let's just try it, because what's the worst that could happen? Right. It was a mistake, first of all, not because, it wasn't successful. Like the channel has been like extremely successful and been able to do a lot of amazing things because of having this YouTube channel. But to be completely honest with you again, like being my own boss is not my thing. That is not my jam. When it came down to making really hard decisions, I didn't really have a team that I could rely on, and it made doing like YouTube full time and making it like, I could not do it. So like even before 2020 happened, in 2019, I was already burned out from doing YouTube. That was already like, it was basically like a year and a half into it. And I was like, I can't do this full time. Like I cannot sustain myself. Like I was mentally breaking down, because there were so many decisions that had to be made. There were so many opportunities that I had that I just couldn't keep up with. And I just didn't have that capacity to really do it. And then like some of you probably already know, because I've put tons of videos out where I talk about mental health, but I legitimately had a mental breakdown. And like, I was trying to sell my YouTube channel at that time. I had another like YouTube channel that I gave away to Allie. You guys, if you know, like the Learn Cybersecurity channel, I gave that channel to her. Because like at that point in my life, I was done. I was checked out, completely just done, checked out. And whatever, like I tried to do as much as I could to keep things going. And then like I'm like beating around so many bushes right now, honestly, too, to get to like my story here, because I don't want to bore you guys with all the whatever, the sad stuff. But anyway, like I was trying to get a job in 2019. It wasn't happening. 2020 happened, and that like tore everybody's world apart, including mine, even more. Like it tore my world apart even further than it already had been. My content isn't going anywhere. The content will always stay, just so y'all know. I'm reading the comments, but yes, content will always be here. You don't have to ever worry about that. But yeah, so like I was trying to find a job just so that I could keep myself busy, like not be working by myself. I literally took a job that was the worst thing that I ever did in my entire life. It taught me so much, but it was also a stepping stone that I needed to kind of take myself out of where I was at currently, like mentally in my life. I just needed a change. I needed something different. And it was the worst mistake of my life. It was the best mistake because it just helped me get out of that funk that I was in, but it was the worst mistake because, and somebody asked about this company in the chat earlier, that is the worst company I've ever in my life had the displeasure of working with for. I'm not going to name names. You can figure it out by looking in the history. That destroyed me more than like anything that I've ever done. That really took a huge toll on my life working for that organization. Like that ripped everything out of me once I was able to peel back the layers and understand what was happening. Yeah. So that's whatever. As a mistake, stuff happens. All good. But like during that time of transitioning, so this was like 2020, like I basically like gave up doing YouTube full time. I was working full time for this other company, and I was just trying to like, excuse me, like get by and figure my life out because there's just so much going on like at home. And quite honestly, like with YouTube, like it's always been this thing, and it's something that I've talked with like Heath Adams, my new boss, about, because it's something that he struggles with, and it's something that a lot of other content creators struggle with. Every single full-time content creator in the technology space specifically. Yes, Sassy, that's exactly who I'm talking about, just to be clear. But every single content creator who is in the technology space, like whether it be networking, whether it be cloud, penetration testing, does not matter. Once you start doing content full time, if you're not doing any, like if you're not keeping up to date in some way, like you start to lose so much knowledge of just that day to day. Like you just start to lose so much on that day to day, and it's so frustrating. And it was so frustrating for me personally, right? Like growth wise, like that was like the biggest challenge I always had with this channel, is because I constantly limited myself to the people who would come to watch, right? Like to the people who come to this channel. So again, like to be completely honest with you, from the inception of this channel, right? Like clearly, I like you can see I have 232,000 subscribers, right? I'm leaving all of my content up, yo. All content's gonna stay. Anyway, 230,000 subscribers. Like even when I had 100,000 subscribers, like if I put out a new video, only about like 3% of my subscribers would watch the video, because like very specifically with this channel, it like hits people who are new to IT. And that's always been the thing. Like you guys come to this channel, you get your like quick hits of information that you need, and you're on to the next person who's going to help you further like that kind of that journey for you. But like with IT career questions specifically, it's like I can only go like inch deep, mile long into the things that I'm doing, because of the audience that I have, which you as the audience, like you guys are literally from all around the world. Like half of my audience is from the United States, but then like literally the other 50% of my audience is from all around the world. And the age range is just it's like huge, like the type of people who watch this specific channel. And then your interests are all completely different, right? Like I always wanted to focus on just entry-level IT and kind of like helping you introduce you guys to these fundamentals and things that you should know. And then like, hey, here's all these other great resources out there. Here's all these other great people that are going to help you further that learning. Like that's the only way that I could approach it, because if I started to narrow down that content that I make, if I started to niche down this content that I made, it gets very specific. So that means like not the same type of people are going to be watching. Like it's going to be audience that it's very specifically interested in cloud. It's going to be audience interested in networking. If that's what, if those were the areas that I chose to like focus in, like that would be the only audience that like would come here. And that's not like, for a long time, that's not what I wanted to do, because I just wanted to help people. Right. But like throughout the years, I've been able to like really kind of figure just so many different things out. And just recently, like talking with personal friends of mine, talking with the people that I work with now, we basically like were able to figure out like, hey, I have 232,000 subscribers, and literally like none of my subscribers ever watch my content. But there are there's a handful of you out there, right? And I see your names in the chat like right now who constantly come back. And I greatly appreciate you guys. Like you're like the reason why I continue to do these live streams all the time, or try to put out content that's going to be somewhat helpful. I don't know. So I thank you to everybody who stuck around, just, I don't know, to watch me for whatever reason. Like, I get that. I understand that. I sincerely thank you for that. But for me personally, like the biggest struggle I had getting back to it, that the same struggle that every single like content creator has, is like, if you're not doing this stuff, if you're not doing tech related things full time, if you're not doing them, or even not even just full time, but if you're not really like taking that time to learn new things, to like advance yourself, to advance your own personal learning, and to continue your own personal journey, like you severely, like you get left behind. Like it takes a huge mental toll on you. And that's not what I want, right? That's not what I want. That's not what I want for any of you either, right? So with that, like IT career questions, if you look at this channel, like there's over 900 videos on this channel. And for those of you who have come to the live streams over and over again, you know that I've answered the same questions over and over and over again. And I try to be as pleasant and nice as I possibly can about that. But like also at the end of the day, there's over 900 videos on this channel. I've answered the same questions over and over and over again in so many videos, not even just the live streams, just because like I know there's constantly new people coming in this channel who are trying to find their way into IT, and I'm constantly trying to stay fresh with those people. And it's constantly like draining me down, and it's constantly like just, it's causing a toll on my progress in my personal journey. And, that's not to say that I'll never do this again, right? Because like I enjoy this, right? I do. I really do. Like I enjoy helping people. But like for me, I want to continue my learning journey, and I want to continue my personal journey and goals, right? And I guess that's where like YouTube is going to come into play now. If you guys go back to like 2017, and I just did this last night. I went back in time to figure out like where it was where my interest started to peak, and then I looked at where my interest started to fade because I could not like keep up with this like endless circle of like creating content, putting out content, being a father and being a husband and like all this other stuff, right? Like it was just, yeah, anyway. My life right now is a bajillion million times better, honestly. Going back to 2017, that's when I found and learned more about cybersecurity. That, you know, like not only was I able to take that interest with YouTube a little bit, I was able to use that interest at work. And that's how I got involved with security related projects at work. Just like the things that I talk to everybody about, like, hey, if you want to get into a specific area of, you know, technology, like once you start working in this field, like once you figure out like where you want to go, like you can start finding projects to do at your current job. That's exactly what I did. And then I quit because I wanted to do YouTube full time, you know? So I kind of like had to pause my security journey a little bit. But in 2019, I got my Security Plus. And I've always tried to continue that journey. Like I got my Security Plus because cybersecurity was like, that's what interests me. That's what I wanted to do. And if you don't know, like now I work for this company right here. That's our logo, TCM Security. If you're not familiar with TCM Security, right? That's the Cyber Mentor. So if you're not familiar with the Cyber Mentor, you can look them up on the YouTube. You can look them up on Twitch, the Cyber Mentor or TCM Security. That's who I work for now. So not only do we do training for people who want to be penetration testers, like we mainly focus on red team. We're getting some blue team content, but I work for a company that does everything that I've ever wanted to do in my life. And if you didn't watch the video back in January, I think I might have put it out in February, or maybe it was late January, but back in January, I got to go on a physical penetration test for the very first time in my life because of the organization that I work with. Now keep in mind, like my role in the organization has nothing to do with penetration testing. It has nothing to do with being on the red team because I was hired for marketing for TCM Security, which is like, that's something that I don't really talk to any of, like I've never really addressed a lot on this channel. Like my career started in marketing, essentially. Like my career started in web development, building websites back in 1999, 2000. Built websites, learned search engine optimization, learned about internet marketing. Like that's something that's been part of my life forever. So like I've been able to kind of, it's just been like a skill set that I've always had. And I was able to obviously capitalize that off of that with like this YouTube channel, right? Like a lot of my marketing skills And just knowledge that I've had. That's how I was able to grow this channel to what it was. Because otherwise, like if you were to go back into the time of like all these other YouTube channels and like this specific type of niche, like it wasn't very easy to grow. But because of like the marketing experience I had, like I kind of feel like I knew what to do, and it definitely helped. Anyway, besides the point, like I work for TCM Security in a role. My role is brand manager, right? And this is marketing. But like Heath knows that, like obviously I've worked in IT my entire life. Technology has been part of my life always, and security has been a huge part of my life. And I'm not saying that Heath would ever give me an opportunity. I'm sure that he probably would, but TCM has given me opportunity after opportunity to learn as much as I want about the red team, penetration testing, ethical hacking, whatever you want to call it, right? And that's kind of basically what I'm leading to, right? Is I'm going to start putting a lot of focus on my content toward my learning journey to basically becoming, I don't want to say becoming a penetration tester, because that's not, basically like I'm going to share my journey into cybersecurity in a way, even though like I'm already working in cybersecurity kind of, but I'm going to more kind of like share my journey of learning. Basically a lot of the things that we do on a day-to-day basis at TCM Security, right? Like not only do we train people how to become ethical hackers, like TCM Security has built a very successful business doing penetration tests. We get paid, companies hire us to hack their networks. Like that's penetration testing, right? Like at a very fundamental, like I'm just going to talk to you about this at a fundamental level because I don't want to go into a huge amount of detail with that, is just that companies pay us to hack them. Like that's what we get paid to do. Back in January, a company paid us to physically break into their building. That same company paid us to do an internal and external penetration test where, we were, spraying passwords, getting access to, their Active Directory, which we did, which I won't go into a lot of detail there. Anyway, Heath let me go on a physical penetration test. And honestly, that was the best experience of my entire life. The best experience of my entire life. And that like completely opened up my eyes to a lot more things. And just working with TCM Security has opened my eyes up to many, many more things that I just never thought I would have an opportunity to have, quite honestly. So I'm not saying that I'm going to go and become a penetration tester by any means, but I am going to start documenting my journey and sharing videos that are actually going more in depth to learning security related technologies and methodologies, because that's what I need to do to grow personally, like to grow in every way that I've ever wanted to grow. Like that's what I need to do at this point in my life. All of the content again on IT career questions is not going anywhere. You're still going to see all the same, like all the old videos, right? Like they will always be there because there are still like if I look at, the channel right now, there's still like over 200,000 people who visit this YouTube channel every single month. There was 250,000 plus people who visited this channel back in June. Right? Like, and it's all of my old content. Like all of my videos that are getting the most amount of views are videos that are like 1 year and older, right? Like they're 1 year old, they're 2 years old, they're 3 years old, right? Like, man, it's just, yeah. So that's where we're at, man. Like, I just want to have fun, honestly. Like, I now work the best job that I've ever worked in my entire life. The people that I work with are absolutely amazing. And here's one of them right now. Wrong person. Evan Alligator, as I like to call him. Yeah, I am like living the dream. And that probably like hurts and stings for some people to hear, but like the whole purpose of this channel is always to get you, who's ever watching this, who's ever trying to achieve the dream. Like, that's been the purpose of this channel, is to help you see that you can achieve a dream of working in IT. Like, that has always been like my goal. That's always what I've wanted to accomplish in every single way that I could. And I've been able to accomplish that. And I now have like living proof of like, this is such a weird thing. So many people come back to this channel like years later sometimes and be like, Zach, because of you, I'm now working like, XYZ job. Like, you changed my life. I literally have people telling me this like years later, so this channel is going to be 8 years old. I have people coming back, commenting on videos that are like 5 years old saying, I watched this video 5 years ago and now I'm about to be like a CISO or something. That's probably been the case, but I know for sure one person's been like, I'm the director of IT 5 years later after watching your channel. Like, that's literally been the case. And it's just, I've helped people. I've accomplished what I've wanted to accomplish, and now I need to accomplish more. And part of accomplishing more is accomplishing my personal goals, but also like helping those along the way still. Like, I still would really love to sit down with you all and do these types of like live AMAs, because I think these types of things are very helpful for you. But like now, like I still want to continue to help you all. There's obviously a ton of other people out there who do cybersecurity related content, and I'm not going to say anything to that specifically, right? Like, that's fine. This more reflects my personal goals and journey, and that's all. And if you don't like that, unsubscribe. Peace out. That's like literally it. I don't care, because I want to do what is going to make me happy and feel good about my life. And I've done nothing but that for since December now. Like, so you all ask like, Zach, how did you lose so much weight? Blah, 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 blah. Here you go. I got weight loss surgery in December. Now 106 people in this live stream right now. Like, I had 80% of my stomach cut out of my body, so that I didn't have to be a fat, miserable person anymore. And that's no disrespect to anybody else who's overweight. I felt like a fat, miserable person, and it was just absolutely, completely draining on everything that I had. I have 4 children. I could not keep up with my 4 children. Like, it's not healthy at all. It's terrible. So that's what I did to lose all of the weight that I've lost so far. And it's honestly one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my entire life, because I feel 100 million times better, quite honestly. And if you guys have not been able to see that by like any of the content that I've been putting out lately, like I did a terrible job of letting you know that, I guess. I don't know, but I feel amazing. Anyway, Zach Luna, thank you for the super chat. I'm sorry it took me so long to get here to your super chat, but thank you very, 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 very much. Can't talk today. It's been a long day already. Lead by example. You got the dream job. That's where we should be. Much love, man. You've been watching for years. You're sysadmin now for a great company. Congratulations to you, Zach Luna. And I recognize your name. You have been around for years. Like that's what I literally recognize your name from being here before. So thank you for being here, and congratulations to you. And thank you for the super chat. So anyway, yeah. What surgery? I had gastric bypass. It's not. It's the sleeve. It's the gastric sleeve, basically. It's a gastric sleeve. My stomach is like literally the size of a banana, which is nuts. So now y'all know, and I don't care because I feel great. Matt Fanning, what's up? I don't know why this chat thing isn't working all the way, and I'm sorry for that. But you got a job making $90K more a year as a fan. Did not bomb that SE interview you told me about the other day. That's awesome, bro. Congrats. I'm sorry for saying that, but yeah, congrats. Seriously, that's awesome. Very, very happy for you. Can I still eat the foods that I love? I mean, you're not supposed to, right? Like I try to stay away from sugary foods because like sugary foods definitely bother my stomach for sure. I can't I can't drink carbonated beverages, so no soda. I stay away from the soda. I don't miss the soda pop at all. But honestly, like I tell this to everybody now, like, take a McChicken from McDonald's, right? Everybody here is familiar with McChicken from McDonald's, I'm sure. Like that's why I constantly reference this because McDonald's exists everywhere in the world. So the size of a McChicken sandwich, right? At this point in time, literally as of today, because today I had one, it's like my go-to thing. It shouldn't be a go-to thing. It's just like always my go-to thing when I'm out because it's got protein and I don't know. I like it. Anyway, I can only eat a half a McChicken. Like literally, that is the amount of food that I can eat before I'm completely full, and I cannot put any more food into my body. A half of a McChicken is it. That's it. After I eat a half a McChicken, I'm done eating forever. So what's the next for the channel? Yeah, I guess I didn't really answer that directly, but next for the channel is just creating content that I enjoy creating, honestly, which is going to be security related stuff because every single day I'm in the world of cybersecurity. And even now, like for the next 21 weeks, excuse me, for the next 20 something weeks, we're doing live practical network penetration tester training. So that's PMPT, the PMPT certification from TCM Security. We're doing live training on that for the next 20 something weeks. And that's going to be intense. Like that's a lot of me getting a lot of security information thrown my way. Not like I don't already get a lot of security information thrown my way, considering I work for a security company. But there's a lot more that I want to learn. And I guess more specifically, I should tell you, web app pen testing is like what I'm most interested in. So web application penetration testing, like we're definitely going to be spinning up some like Juice Shop. We're definitely going to be learning more about OWASP. We're definitely going to be getting into Burp Suite. We're going to be targeting some different websites and organizations. Like I'm literally already building an entire OSINT challenge because like that's something that I'm extremely passionate and interested about. So like I've got the domains ready to go. I've got like the web, like basically I have like what these businesses are going to be doing. We're going to be like, I'm going to be building a lot of Sock Puppets accounts for these businesses. Like, man, it's going to be fun. Joe Tito, Joe Tito. I love you, bro. I do. Joe Tito, I've known you for many, many years, sir. I have to say that I'm so incredibly proud of what you've done with your life, man. Like legitimately. Joe Tito is a personal friend of mine. Like he literally, like Joe Tito lived down the street from me. And I never refer to him as Joe. It's always Joe Tito. Always. So it's so funny that's your name. It's either Joe Tito or just Tito. But anyway, he literally lived down the street from me for 20 something years of my life. I taught this guy how to build websites back when we were 15, right? 14, 15 years old. I taught him how to build websites and gave him my book, HTML for Dummies. So if you've ever heard me tell my story of, how I got started, like I got started in IT doing web development because I bought a book called HTML for Dummies. Joe Tito inherited that book, HTML for Dummies. Like he was the next person in line that got that book. And there's another person who they're both web developers now, ironically. Like so funny. Like that's what they do for a living. They both inherited my HTML for Dummies book. I will always remember that. Like I will always take great pride in that. I'll always remember sitting in Joe's house with his mom being downstairs. And we were downstairs. Maybe your mom was upstairs. I don't know. But I have to say that because you obviously know why, Joe. But I just remember sitting there with you on the computer, like talking HTML with you, building websites. It's just good memory. Glad we went there. Thanks, Joe. John Kim, thank you very much for the super chat. I very much appreciate that. I'm sorry that it doesn't show all the way, but thank you, John. Great stuff, Zach. You landed your first help desk job 6 months ago, and you're now the company's SOC team. And now the company SOC team wants you to transfer to their team. Looking forward to my new content. By the way, you're an awesome mod while Heath teaches. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. And good luck to you. And congratulations. Like, that's awesome. Like, definitely, like, good luck. And keep watching the PMPTE live streams. Because, there's a lot of good stuff to learn. And we haven't even got into the fun stuff yet. It's already been fun, but we haven't even gotten into the fun stuff yet. Ray, you were just thinking about OWASP as soon as you said web app pen testing. Probably biggest security thing of them all. There's a lot of big security things, but yeah. And I was just reading something the other day that somebody was saying, like, there's a lot of people who want to be penetration testers, which is great, but there's not a lot of people who kind of focus on web app pen testing. And me, like, and I actually talked to Joe Tito about this, like, a month ago? And when I was, maybe 2 months ago at this point, or I shared with him my interest of learning more about web app pen testing. And I was like, man, like, I've literally been doing web development for half of my life. Like, that is like something that if there's any security related field, area, whatever that should be of interest to me, it should be web applications and web app pen testing, basically. Because there's a lot of that area that I'm very, very comfortable and familiar with. And so with that also is like Joe Helly. So if you know Joe Helly, he works for TCM Security also. He's our red team lead. He's been working with me. Him and I have been meeting one-on-one for the past 3 weeks now. We take like an hour out of the week, and he goes over things about web app pen testing for me. Like, he's like doing like a one-on-one session with me, which is freaking amazing. Because like this dude, he's been on fire lately finding CVEs, like just like CVEs after CVE after CVE. Sorry, I got to reply back to my daughter. Yeah. Lots going on today. Am I going to teach hacking? Josh, and hello, Josh. How you doing, sir? It's good to see you. I wouldn't say that I want to, I don't want to say that I'm going to teach hacking, because I feel like that's not a thing that I want to say. I'm not going to teach hacking. I'm going to teach things about cybersecurity. And if there's things about ethical hacking that fall into play because of that, then so be it, I guess. But I don't want to go out and say, hey, I'm going to teach you how to hack anything, because no. That's not for me. I want to learn things about cybersecurity because those are the things that interest me, right? And I'm going to teach you the things about cybersecurity from a standpoint of I think you're going to see a lot of the IT career questions, like style, format, what have you, of content creation and thought processes or processes, whatever, come out in the new content that I make. So yeah, I'm sure there will be hacking things that happen, but I'm not going to be hacking any Starbucks or anything like that. Jesse Carrillo, it is good to see you. Here's another name. I recognize that name as well. That's a name I recognize always. Todd, cybersecurity is so far reaching and provides a ton of possible paths. For sure. It's always something that's interests me. And it's so funny. Everybody always asks, Zach, how do I get into cybersecurity? And I'm always like, hey, what is it about cybersecurity that interests you? And that's always a very, very difficult thing for people to answer, because they don't quite have an understanding of what cybersecurity is. And I have to understand that. We all kind of have to understand that, why do I want to learn cybersecurity? To be completely honest with you, I love social engineering and OSINT, those things are my jam. That's the stuff I'm super excited about. It's the physical penetration testing, when I got to go on the physical pen test, the whole I was so excited about that is because I knew I was going to have an opportunity to social engineer people in person, and I've never been able to do that. And that's like, that's always been something I've wanted to do. Like I've always wanted to like challenge myself in that aspect. So yeah. And like physical pen tests, like man, like those just they don't happen all the time. That's like a very rare like requested type of service for a lot of like pen test organizations. Like they don't happen as frequently as an internal pen test or an external pen test or web app pen test, right? Like but I definitely want to do like a crap ton more of those. Anyway, channel's not ending, channel's not going anywhere. All the content will stay. You don't have to worry about that. But yeah, so like I guess my focus again, outside of like the social engineering, that type of stuff, like OSINT, open source intelligence, like that whole like area, like it's obviously like it is penetration testing, but it's man, I want to learn more about penetration testing and the different. I guess there's things like about penetration testing, like I want to know just to look at it from a social engineering standpoint. And I think that there's more that I'm going to discover about my journey learning here about, I'm going to discover more areas that are of interest to me. Right. But like my thought process right now, like this is like all where I'm at, like penetration, OSINT, social engineering, basically web app pen testing, which is like, yeah, right. Penetration testing, I guess, whatever. It's going to be a fun learning journey is all I have to say. I don't want to give out like too much details. And that's why I'm really trying to limit everything that I'm saying. And I'm really like, I'm trying to be as careful as I can about the choice of words that I'm using right now. So anyway, Joe Dunks, you're having trouble finding a help desk job where you're at. They all want 3 to 5 years of experience. Apply anyway. I don't know. This is a brush for my lens and I'm holding it and playing with it. I'm sorry. If you all were wondering, I'm like fidgeting here. But anyway, yeah. Jobs that require experience, especially entry-level jobs, just apply anyway. Like, oh man. Tomboy, was I nervous to lie to people during the pen test? Like not telling the truth feels bad, although it's your job. I did not, because like I was getting paid to do that. Like that was my job, right? Like I was literally getting paid to lie to people essentially. And I had to be okay with that just based on those circumstances. And it wasn't like, okay, like I'm lying to these people. It's like in like a very negative way. It's like, I have to lie to these people in order to not only do my job, but really just like essentially do my due diligence in making sure like whatever kind of situation would come up, like either that person follows the proper protocols and procedures that they should be, like asking the proper questions, or just essentially like doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? Like, so I have to play like the bad guy and the good guy at the same time, right? Like that's where I look at like the like social engineering and like physical penetration testing is like, yeah, I'm there being the bad guy kind of, but like I'm also there like rooting for that company. Like I want to go into that organization. Like I want them to discover that like I'm there and I'm not supposed to be there. And I want them to call me out on, that fake badge that I printed on a gift card. And, like I want them to be like, no, I need to call somebody and verify that you're supposed to be here. And, if they get a sketchy like text message from their boss saying that they need like 5,000 gift cards, like I want them to call like, the people that they're supposed to be calling and following those proper, those proper policies, procedures, and protocols, right? Like I'm there rooting for those organizations. So yeah, like unfortunately, like I have to lie to them, right? And it's not that it feels good or bad. It's just like, that's just part of the job, because at the end of the day, like I want that organization to be protected. So why don't I lie to them as the good guy, like knowing full well that I'm the good guy? I'm going to lie to you because I need to discover what would happen if the bad guy were to lie to you. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that makes sense to you, because it all makes complete sense in my head. Somebody asked, do you have to have a plus certification for a help desk? No, absolutely not. You don't need to, unless that company requests that certification. Sometimes that organization will, sometimes organizations will require you have that certification. And even still, like here's like a catch to this also, right? Like some organizations might say they require the A plus for an entry level job. I would still apply for that job anyway, because oftentimes, like, I'm going to tell you, like, truthfully, honestly, like, a lot of times companies have a hard time hiring entry level jobs for entry level jobs, because they're looking for the right person that's going to fit their organization, blah, 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 right? You might be that person and you don't have your A plus. Apply for that job anyway, because they might be in a position where they're just going to like start interviewing people who don't match all of their criteria. And then they're going to tell you, hey, like, actually, like this person right here who didn't have their A plus organization, they were the best fit for this role. And we're going to hire them, but we're going to tell them, like, we'll hire you and give you the job, but you have, 3 months or 6 months to get your A plus certification. That's why you apply anyway. That's why you apply anyway to every single entry level IT job. Every single IT job, whether they require experience or whether they require a certification. If it says entry level in any aspect, apply anyway. Like, I give this advice every single live stream, and I love giving it. And I'm sure so many people are like, there's so many people here who could probably spit this out word for word for me at this point. And I love you all for that. And it's also like, it's like why I love doing these live streams too, is because there's people who come here who like have never heard that before. There's people here who never heard this advice before, and you need to be hearing this advice. Job descriptions are wish lists, yo. That's it. Any job description you see is a wish list. Unicorns just don't exist, right? Like, you're never going to find, it's just like, okay, they do exist. They're very rare. Okay. But you're, especially for an entry level job, right? Like the company who's putting out that job description, they're never, like, understand this. That company is never, ever going to find somebody who meets every single thing that they're asking for in that job description. It's just not going to happen. Like, I promise you that. It's just no. And here's the thing, if they do find somebody who meets like that criteria, that person is already more advanced for that job. So they shouldn't even be applying for that job. And if they are applying for that job because maybe it pays better, like, I get that, I understand that, but like that company is also probably more than likely not going to pay you as much as like what you should be making in that current position either. So there's another thing for you. Ray, what's going on? Your question is, how do you know when you are ready from the entry-level role to a more adept role such as sysadmin or more? That's a great question. And I have to, hang on, let me figure out how to mute myself here so I can figure out how to cough here real quick. There should be like an easy button for this, and there's not. I should probably use my Elgato Stream Deck to like for a mute button, right? Evan Alligator, if you're still here. Anyway, Ray, I'm sorry. This is a great question, honestly. And it's a question that like it's impossible to answer because everybody's experience differs from one another. Everybody's learning journey is different from one another. Everybody's journey in IT is so completely different from one another. Like, you may be like just like a freaking genius, right? I don't know. I don't know anything about you. But you may be like very, like, you just might be very much more in touch with technology than other people. So like you might have like a much easier time advancing. But ultimately, like, you have to start preparing yourself for these like advancements. And if your current position isn't going to do that, like if your current job isn't going to give you like that opportunity for advancement, like that's where you need to start like looking into like either what certifications are going to help you align with like your journey, right? Like what certifications can you start taking, learning, and passing that are going to get you into that sysadmin position? What projects can you be assisting with in that current position that are going to lead to a sysadmin position? Because you definitely want to have some documented experience, and certifications are going to be helpful, but more so since you're already working in IT, getting documented experience in projects that relate to system administrator work, so like whether that's like implementing a new backup system or like implementing a new imaging system, or you start taking over like log reviews and Windows updates, who knows, like the list could literally go on and on and on. But find a project that you can get involved with that you can start documenting on your resume, because ultimately like that's what's going to help you advance to your next position. But you have to start showing in some way that you're capable of doing those things that will lead to that next position. So like it could literally be like as soon as you get a Microsoft Azure certification, start applying for sysadmin jobs if that's like what you're interested in, right? Like you're going to it's not the greatest advice. I'm not going to touch on that too much because I have a lot more that I'd like to say about that. But literally like just start applying, because you're going to start to figure out what it is that you need to do to advance further. Or like once you start getting projects on your resume, like once you get those projects listed on your resume, well, then start applying for like jobs that align with those projects. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's helpful. And I'm sorry, it's really difficult to keep up with the chat, and I have to leave in about 10 minutes, probably less than 10 minutes. We're going to cut this chat or cut the stream because I have 4th of July festivities to attend, which is like, firecrackers and fireworks and stuff. I like that stuff. I'm from the Midwest. I don't know about the rest of the country, but it seems like the Midwest, like we really like to get down with our fireworks. I'm going to try not to blow off any fingers, but yes. Zachary Jones, what's up? You have a great name, sir. You like the PC technician job, repairing computer hardware, installing heat sinks, OS, multimedia software, etc. There's not a ton of jobs out there like that, honestly. What do I think about the Test Out PC Pro certification? I mean, Test Out is a great company. They teach a lot of, like, their teaching style is different than a lot of companies also. But their like labs are really, really good. Ultimately, like there's a lot of great things that you're going to learn from Test Out. But like, if you think you're going to achieve anything by having that certification, you're not, because there's not a lot of organizations that ask for that certification, quite honestly. And if they do, they're probably in Utah, would be my guesstimate. Ray, you're welcome for answering your question, sir. Scrolling through questions, sorry. It looks like I'm, at the end of questions, so I hope I was able to kind of clear things up a little bit. Midwest Viking gang, heck yeah. But yeah, I don't have $35. I don't have a $35. The kids always asking for dollars. All right, y'all. That's probably my cue to peace out. But anyway, just sum things up. IT career questions probably won't be IT career questions anymore. It probably more than likely won't be the name, but we're going to ride things out for a while as I go through my security journey, because that's what's new. That's what's up. All the IT career questions videos will stay. You'll still find them around for all of the time. I'm not going to remove them because there's like over 900 videos. And quite honestly, like the 900 videos that I have right now sustain this channel and a lot of things. Like there's a lot of things that I'm capable of doing because this channel still exists and still is helping people every single day. Ray, can you have $35? Do you want $35? Just like the kids? IT career questions is over means there's no more IT careers? No, it just means that I'm focusing on something new. I'm focusing on something that makes me happy. And it's going to be a journey that I don't know. Some of you can follow along with. Otherwise, like, there's a lot of other great content creators out there who focus on other things. But so am I going to put security stuff up now? Yeah. What is my current job? My current position is a brand manager for TCM Security. I mostly do marketing things, which is such a weird thing, man. Like, my entire career history is just insane. It's just so weird. That's why, like, when I tell people all the time, like, if you pool 100 different people in IT and ask them how they got in IT, you're going to hear 100 different answers. Every single person's journey has been so different. Do I think IT will ever become fully automated? No. Gosh, no. Oh, get out of here. I would love to play that, but I don't think I can. I would really love to play Wrath of the Lich King again, though. I'm not going to lie. Zach, do I have any videos kind of detailing what each area of IT is about so you can find your interest? I don't have like one video that like covers the gambit, I guess. I mean, I do have one video where I talk about types of IT jobs. It's kind of old. It's pretty old, but otherwise, like, I have videos where I interview people from different positions in IT. So that could be helpful. I owe nothing to nobody. You've helped with your free advice to so many people. You feel so grateful. I appreciate that. Any resume templates I would recommend to try to get a first entry level job? Not off the top of my head, no. I have, there's a resume video that I did. So I would look that up. Look up the resume video because there's sample resumes in there for sure. 100%. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all tonight. I got to go do fireworks and stuff because, you know, celebrating my independence. That's how we celebrate our independence, is by blowing off fireworks. So I hope y'all have a great night. Thank you all for tuning in and listening to me ramble because that's all I felt like I did tonight. But it felt really good to get it all. It felt really good for me to put this all out there because it's been a long time coming. Jay Button, stop trying to tell people that all the IT career questions have been answered. Gosh, I love you for saying all these things this whole time because it's been funny as heck. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm just doing different stuff. But right now I'm going somewhere. I'm leaving the stream. This is the end of the stream. So thank you all. But I'm out. You just found me and you learned so much. You're still going to learn lots and lots. So stay tuned. There's always more. It's always going to be fun and exciting. Maybe if I can figure out how to end this live stream, I'll stop talking. But I can't figure it out yet. Anyway, I'll figure it out. See it. Make